What's up guys, ShirleyBobGirl here, and welcome to the Creative Sim for the Asylum Challenge. Now, just to throw out the Creative Sim rules, since I didn't put that in the speed build last time, all of the Sims must be young adults. They can look, sound, walk however you want them to. All of them must have the insane trait. All the other traits could be anything except for custom content. And they can have any aspiration except for the main sim, which she cannot have successful lineage, big happy family, fabulously wealthy, or mansion baron, just because it's kind of hard to get that as the main sim. But yeah, so does make it a little bit more interesting to have some sims that are evil, mean, romantic, what have you, like that, just to make it a little bit more fun, interesting, see where things go from there. So this right here, I'm making the main sim. Her name is Lily Chambers. She probably took me the longest to create, just because I wanted to make her really special. Then her backstory is that she has severe obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD, and misophobia, which is the phobia of germs. And her disorders affected her so much in everyday life that her husband actually checked her into Serenity Falls Asylum to see if the staff could kind of help her out, lessen the effects of her condition. And so I made her traits kind of go with the OCD to be insane, obviously, as well as neat and squeamish. So she's just kind of like about like fish and things, and she's always wanted to clean things. And her aspiration I made to be painter extraordinaire, just kind of get her feet in the water, get a little bit messy with that paint. So she was a lot of fun to create. At first I wanted her to be very light makeup or no makeup, but then I realized how adorable she is with the deep color, like deep red lips and the really good like dark eyeshadow. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do that. It'll be more of a relaxed asylum where people can wear whatever clothes they want. They don't have to wear they don't have to wear the other little clothes that asylums probably technically make people wear. But you'll see in a little bit where I put a specific bracelet in all of her outfits, and that is a bracelet that she got from her mother, who passed away when she was a child. And she always just keeps that with her to kind of remind her of her mother. And so she never takes it off. And she really loves it. So this is Lily Chambers. Probably she's very different from most of the Sims that I've created, and I'm very excited to play as her. And then here we have a Sim that kind of she's inspired by a character from Firefly, River Tam, which I also named her after River as well. But she is insane, genius, and active, and her aspiration is nerd brain. Kind of the backstory for this River is that all of the events in Firefly was in her head after she had received shock therapy from one of the employees at the asylum, Dr. Matthias, which if you've seen Firefly, you'll understand the reference. But she'll constantly be like talking to herself and the other Sims about reavers and flying on a firefly that happens to be named Serenity. So that was just kind of a nod to River and Firefly. Just because I was looking at names for asylums and saw Serenity Falls. It's like, hey, I need to put someone from Firefly in here. You can't have Serenity and not have Firefly. So that was I love River. She's one of my favorite characters from the show, so I needed to have a little bit of her in here. So this sim here I'm creating is Savannah Dillon, and she, I don't know, she's interesting to say the least. She is insane, a glutton, and lazy, and she is also has the painter extraordinaire aspiration. And she kind of grew up in the art scene, growing up watching her parents be artists. And in her teens, Savannah was introduced by some friends to drugs, and she very quickly got addicted, and at one point almost died from an overdose. And so her parents decided to admit her into the asylum, to see if she could kind of manage her addiction. Um, but somehow Savannah constantly is able to sneak in a little bit of those drugs from her friends that were not a very good influence on her. So she's constantly just lazing around, and it's always munchy for whatever food just happens to be in the asylum. And I also gave her this necklace in all of her outfits, just to kind of, I don't know, remind her of home. She also got a little piece of jewelry from her family, um, when no one passed away, but from her family, just kind of remember them. And I love this dress on her. Um, you can kind of see on the open back. It's like, you know what, that would look really good with a tattoo. So I gave her the wing tattoo on her back, and then the little heart on her shoulder. Just kind of, she likes the phrase "keep your heart on your sleeve," so she wanted to put the heart on her shoulder, and then the wings, I guess, just kind of be free, live life to the fullest. But to do that, she wants to overcome her addiction, and so yeah, that's Savannah. I feel like she's going to be a very entertaining sim in this challenge, just because I don't know, I just get the feeling I feel like she would be very sassy, or be too lazy to be sassy. But I think this is going to be very, very entertaining. And I love that she's like, I'm just gonna flaunt my body. Why not? I can work it. And so the fourth sim here, had a little bit of fun with. She is Margaret Sullivan. She is the first of two aliens in this Let's Play. She's insane, clumsy, and a genius, and her aspiration is computer whiz. And Margaret originally came to the asylum to study like Earth hospital patients, just to see like what they're about, what was happening. But since she is so clumsy, she was constantly being asked by the staff to like clean up behind her and like fix things that she's messed up, and so it kind of gave her slight OCD, especially with Lily's kind of Lily being there and picking up some of those mannerisms from her. Um, so I don't know. She's an interesting one. And she became a little bit too obsessed with humans, and always wears a wig, a nice blonde wig with flowing locks. Um, and I put the I don't know if I've put them on yet in this part. But I did put tattoos. There we go. Put tattoos on her. It's kind of alien markings, and I put some of those spotted alien makeup on her, just as some markings. I thought they looked really cool, added some depth to her skin. In this part, I am changing the colors kind of according to her outfits and outfit types. But I do change that back later and just leave them all blue for each outfit. just because it made more sense. If I was seeing that as being part of her actual skin, it would make a little bit more sense to have them always be one color instead of color changing. Which I don't know if I change that until later when we meet our second alien friend. Which he's going to be the last sim in this create a sim section. But I think it'll be fun. And so here we have our first guy of the asylum, which took a little pause there. We have our first guy of the asylum. He was surprisingly fast to create, but his name is Jason C.H. Rice. Which, if the name doesn't suggest it, Jason has dissociative identity disorder, or a lot of people still think of it as MPD, and he switches between his regular self and his alter, which is him thinking that he is Jesus. And so for his his traits, I made insane, good, and cheerful, and that his aspiration is friend of the world. And so he is the only one who has multiple outfits. So I gave him one outfit for each group for just himself, and then I gave him a second outfit that was just pure white for the Jesus side of him. Just to make it a little more interesting, and when he changes up his outfits, it's like, oh, he's this today. just to add a little bit of interesting depth to his character, and make it a little bit fun. And I don't know, I just found it very, very interesting with that idea, to have someone like that in our asylum. And so here we have our second male, Trevor Tucker. And his traits are insane, childish, and hot-headed, and then he wants to be a best-selling author. His kind of backstory is that Trevor's parents actually admitted him into Serenity Falls because of his autism. It's getting too much for them. He was getting aggressive with outbreaks, super hyperactive, and he was having attempts with self-harm. And his bad days were kind of outweighing his good days. So his parents were like, okay, we're gonna get you some help. See if these guys can help in any way, kind of mellow him out a little bit. And so, and he does have a little bit of a nerdy side, I think. At least I'd like to think he has a little bit of a nerdy side. Which I think is super adorable. But I feel like he's gonna have a temper. It's gonna be, I don't know, it'll be interesting, to say the least. But yeah, I think he's one of those guys who he looks really sweet at first, and then you meet him and he just goes meh at everything. So here we have our third guy. I was thinking about having tattoos for him, and I don't know if I keep the tattoos or not. I don't remember. But this is Chester Cooper. And he is insane, evil, and mean, and he wants to be public enemy. So Mr. Chester Cooper here was admitted after pleading that he had schizophrenia after being caught for a murder. So he is an ex-murderer now. But that's kind of the only thing anyone really knows about him in the asylum. He's very, very mysterious with those blue eyes and chiseled jaw. But he's definitely a blondie. I do throw some glasses on him at one point just to kind of, I don't know, his face just looked like it was missing something. And I can't help but thinking that those eyelashes look like eyeliner, so it makes me laugh every time. So I kind of, oh, there I am taking the tattoo off. But yeah, I put glasses on him partially to break up the effect of eyeliner that wasn't actually on his face. But I thought it looked nice. But I don't know. But yeah, so that's Mr. Chester Cooper, the oh so mysterious, tall, dark, and handsome murderer. Sounds a little bit more creepy when I say it that way. Um, but he's an interesting one. I don't know. I feel like he should get along with the this last sim that's coming up in a moment, but I also feel like he probably won't get along just because I did kind of place these guys in a world that I have just kind of extra and they the first thing they did was argue. Um, but this last sim here is our second alien, Victor Malone. And he's insane, also evil like Chester, and he's gloomy and wants to be public enemy. But Victor is a bipolar ex-murderer from an alien planet, and since he's on the run, I am going to be having him in his disguise for most of this Let's Play. Which if you guys like, go ahead and leave in the comments down below if you'd like me to show me creating his disguise, or if you just want me to show you the finished product when I'm done. But I am going to have those face markings and his tattoos on his disguise, just to have a little bit of a, I don't know, just a little bit of his alien side showing through. Just to kind of show that his disguise is not perfect. And I don't know, I thought just that kind of added a little bit extra dimension to his character, just show he's hiding, but he's not very good at it. But I did try to kind of change his face markings with whichever outfits, but I think I changed them all back to just being green. Just made a little bit more sense. To have them all one color, make it look more like alien markings. So here they are all together. Go ahead and leave a comment down below what you think of this little family of misfits. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks for hanging out, and have a good one.